Stop. Do not skip this moment. Not because I am asking you to stay, but because something has already stopped you. You didn't arrive here casually. You didn't click this without reason. And you didn't hear these words by accident. I am Archangel Michael, and I am speaking to you now because the noise around your life has grown too loud for you to hear what matters. You have been moving forward on the outside while standing still on the inside, and it has exhausted you. You wake up already tired, not in your body, but in your spirit. You carry a weight you cannot explain, a seriousness that others don't notice, a quiet alertness that never fully turns off. That is not anxiety. That is awareness under pressure. You have been holding your life together longer than anyone realizes. You kept going when stopping felt safer. You stayed composed when breaking down felt honest. You handled responsibilities that were never meant to be yours alone. And still, you asked yourself, why does it still feel unfinished? Because it is. You are not in a season of collapse. You are in a season of interruption. I have interrupted patterns that would have slowly drained you. I have delayed outcomes that would have locked you into a future smaller than what you are capable of holding. And yes, that delay frustrated you. You questioned your timing. You questioned your worth. You questioned whether you were being ignored. You were not. You were being protected from arriving too early. There are doors that open easily but destroy you quietly once you enter them. You were spared. You have noticed something changing lately. Not dramatically, not loudly, but steadily. What once triggered you now feels distant. What once tempted you now feels empty. What once scared you no longer controls your decisions. That is not numbness. That is detachment through strength. You are no longer reacting. You are observing. And that shift matters, because observation is the beginning of authority. For a long time, you lived in reaction mode, responding, adjusting, managing. You learned how to survive every situation by becoming smaller than it. That skill saved you once. Now it is limiting you. You are not meant to keep adapting forever. There comes a point when adaptation becomes self-betrayal. You reached that point. And that is why things began to feel heavy. Not because life got harder, but because your soul stopped agreeing to the terms. You have been loyal to situations that were no longer loyal to your growth. You stayed because you are responsible. You stayed because you are patient. You stayed because you hoped things would change. But patience without alignment becomes silent suffering, and I will not allow you to suffer quietly anymore. Listen carefully now. The season you are entering will demand clarity, not sacrifice. You will not be asked to prove your worth through exhaustion again. You will be asked to choose, and choice is heavier than effort. Effort lets you stay busy. Choice forces you to be honest. You will soon face moments where the old version of you would have said yes automatically. This time, you will pause. And in that pause, everything will change. Some people will feel that pause immediately. They will sense distance where there used to be access. They will feel resistance where there used to be availability. They may call it coldness. It is not. It is boundaries becoming real. You are not withdrawing from life. You are withdrawing from confusion. And confusion has fed on your energy for too long. You were never weak. You were overloaded. There is a difference. You took responsibility for things you could not control. You blamed yourself for outcomes that were not yours to carry. You tried to be fair in environments that were not honest. That ends now. Not with conflict, with clarity. You will not need to explain your decisions the way you used to. You will not feel the urge to convince people of your truth. You will speak less and mean more. This is not silence from fear. This is silence from authority. Authority does not argue. It stands. You may feel moments of loneliness ahead, not because you are losing people, but because you are losing versions of yourself that made others comfortable. That loneliness is temporary. Alignment always feels empty before it feels stable. Do not rush to fill that space. That space is sacred. That space is where your next strength forms. You are being recalibrated. Your nervous system is learning safety without chaos. Your mind is learning stillness without guilt. Your spirit is learning trust without force. This is why rest feels strange to you now. This is why peace feels unfamiliar. You were conditioned to move only when something was wrong. Now, nothing is wrong, and your body does not recognize that yet. Give it time. You are not falling behind. You are being repositioned. What is coming next will not demand urgency. It will demand presence. And you are learning how to stay present without needing constant reassurance. That is growth. That is strength. That is readiness. I did not come to warn you. I came to confirm something you already felt. You are not meant to return to who you were before this awakening. That version of you has completed their role. Honor them, but do not follow them forward. You are stepping into a phase where your life will be shaped by what you allow, not by what you endure. And I will remain with you as long as you remain honest with yourself. This message is not urgent, it is precise. And precision always arrives right before transformation.
You have felt resistance increase recently. Not suddenly, gradually. Small delays, unexpected tension, moments where things almost worked but didn't. You wondered if you were doing something wrong. You were not. When alignment approaches, resistance tests clarity. This is not punishment. This is confirmation. I am Archangel Michael, and I need you to understand this clearly. Not every battle in your life was meant to be fought directly. Some were meant to reveal where you were still over-giving, over-explaining, overstaying. You mistook endurance for strength. Endurance was necessary once. Now it is optional. You are no longer in a phase where survival is the lesson. You are in a phase where discernment is required. That is why certain pressures increased. Pressure exposes attachment. It shows you what still controls your decisions without announcing itself. Fear of disappointing others. Fear of being misunderstood. Fear of losing stability. Those fears were once useful. They kept you cautious. Now they are outdated. You cannot carry forward what was designed only to keep you safe in the past. That is why resistance showed up right before movement. It was not sent to stop you. It was sent to ask one question: will you choose clarity even when comfort is available? Many people fail this moment. They return to what is familiar because it feels responsible. But responsibility without alignment becomes a cage. You were close to doing that. You considered shrinking your truth to keep peace. You considered staying quiet to avoid conflict. You considered delaying yourself so others wouldn't feel left behind. I did not allow that delay. I allowed tension instead, because tension forces awareness. You needed to see clearly what was costing you energy without giving you growth. You needed to feel what was draining you without nourishing you. That awareness is irreversible. Once seen, it cannot be unseen. This is why certain connections feel strained now, not because they became bad, but because they became incompatible with who you are becoming. Some people were meant to walk with you only until you learned self-respect. Some roles were meant to hold you only until you learned self-trust. You are not abandoning them, you are completing them. Completion does not require conflict, it requires honesty. You will notice something important now. When you stop explaining, truth stands on its own. When you stop reacting, manipulation loses power. When you stop rushing, clarity rises. This is spiritual authority. Not dominance, not control. Presence. Presence that does not bend under pressure. You were protected in ways you did not recognize at the time. Opportunities that felt perfect fell apart unexpectedly. Relationships that felt promising revealed instability. Paths that looked easy became complicated quickly. You thought this was misfortune. It was intervention. You were being guided away from futures that required too much compromise. The delay saved you from erosion. Erosion of values, erosion of peace, erosion of self-respect. You were spared the slow loss that many mistake for success. This is why your life did not unfold the way you planned. It unfolded the way you needed. You are not late. You are intact. That matters more than speed. Now, hear this carefully. The next phase of your life will not tolerate half-truths. You will feel immediate discomfort when something is off. Your body will respond before your mind explains. Do not override that signal. It is guidance. You have earned this sensitivity through experience. It is not weakness, it is precision. You are no longer here to convince anyone of your worth. You are here to live in a way that does not require explanation. Some will misunderstand your silence. Let them. Silence is not absence, it is boundary. You are learning to withdraw energy from what does not reciprocate clarity. This is not punishment. This is correction. Correction toward balance. You have been giving more than you received for a long time, not just materially, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Balance is returning now, and balance feels uncomfortable to those who benefited from imbalance. Expect subtle resistance, not confrontation, distance, coldness, confusion. Do not personalize it. Alignment does not need approval. You are not responsible for how others respond to your self-respect. You are responsible for maintaining it. This is the difference between reaction and choice. You are choosing now, even when it feels quiet, even when it feels lonely, even when it feels unfamiliar. I am with you in this unfamiliarity, not to fight battles for you, but to stand beside you as you stop fighting what no longer matters. Your strength is no longer needed to survive chaos. It is needed to sustain clarity. That requires a different kind of courage. The courage to pause, the courage to say no, the courage to let things fall apart that were never meant to be rebuilt. This is not destruction, this is release. And release creates space. Space for what does not require defense. Space for what does not demand exhaustion. Space for what meets you where you are. You are not stepping into danger. You are stepping out of confusion. And that is why resistance had to appear first. It was the final test to see if you would choose truth over habit. You did. That choice is sealed.
You are entering a phase where your role begins to change. Not dramatically, quietly. You will not be announced. You will not be promoted loudly. You will simply notice that people start watching you differently. Not because you asked for attention, but because your presence has weight now. This is how leadership actually begins. Not with confidence, with responsibility. For a long time, you avoided standing too visibly. You told yourself you preferred peace, privacy, simplicity, and that was true. But there was also another reason. You were protecting yourself from carrying more than you could hold. You already carried enough. Now that has shifted. You are not lighter because life became easier. You are lighter because you stopped carrying what was never yours. That is why your energy feels different, more contained, more deliberate, less scattered. People will feel that. Some will lean in, some will pull away. Both reactions are natural. When clarity enters a space, it rearranges dynamics. You will notice that people begin to come to you for grounding, not advice, not answers, stability. They will sense that you are not rushing, that you are not reacting emotionally, that you are not trying to manage impressions. That steadiness is rare, and rare things draw attention. This is why you must be careful now. Not fearful, careful. Not everyone who approaches you is meant to stay close. Some will seek comfort, not alignment. Some will seek reassurance, not truth. You are not here to absorb other people's anxiety. You are here to model calm. That means you must protect your internal state more than ever before. Your peace is no longer personal, it is functional. It allows you to choose clearly when others are overwhelmed. This does not mean you withdraw from life. It means you engage intentionally. There will be moments when you feel the urge to intervene, to fix, to help, to stabilize situations around you. Pause. Ask yourself one question. Is this mine to carry? If the answer is no, do not pick it up out of habit. You have done that enough. Leadership is not about doing more. It is about doing what is essential and letting the rest fall away. You will also notice that outcomes begin to require less force. Things move when you stop pushing. Opportunities appear when you stop chasing. Conversations resolve when you stop over-explaining. This is not coincidence, it is coherence. Your inner alignment is beginning to shape your outer reality, and that is why patience is critical now. Do not rush visibility, do not rush decisions, do not rush expansion. What is forming around you needs stability, not speed. Speed would distort it. You have spent enough time in environments where urgency was rewarded and wisdom was ignored. That is not where you are going. Where you are going will recognize restraint as strength. You may feel moments of doubt, not about direction, but at pace. You may wonder why things are not moving faster, why recognition is quiet, why growth feels subtle. Trust this. Quiet growth roots deeply. Loud growth collapses easily. You are being trusted with longevity. That requires patience. You are also learning that leadership does not mean control. It means regulation. Regulating your reactions, regulating your energy, regulating your access. You will say less now, but when you speak, it will land. You will move less, but when you act, it will matter. This is refinement, and refinement always precedes impact. Do not compare your process to those who move loudly. They are often compensating. You are consolidating. That is why I'm asking you to stay grounded, not isolated, grounded. Stay connected to your body, to rest, to silence. Your clarity depends on it. You are not meant to carry this next phase alone, but you are meant to carry it consciously. I am with you not to command you, but to remind you. You already know what to do next. It is not complicated. It is simply uncomfortable because it requires consistency. Consistency in boundaries, consistency in honesty, consistency in choosing yourself without apology. That consistency will change how others relate to you. Some will respect it, some will resist it. Both are information. Neither should stop you. You are not here to be liked. You are here to be aligned. And alignment will quietly place you where you are meant to stand, without force, without struggle, without needing to announce yourself. This is the beginning of a different kind of authority, one that does not need to prove itself.
Now we speak about power. Not the kind people chase, the kind people avoid. Because real power comes with responsibility, and responsibility removes excuses. You have been learning this quietly. For a long time, you believed power meant control, money, influence, position. That belief kept you cautious. You didn't want to become what you didn't respect. So you stayed away. You limited yourself. You told yourself you were not interested. That was partially true. But there was also fear. Fear that power would change you. Fear that receiving more would cost you your integrity. Fear that abundance would disconnect you from your values. So you learned to give, and give, and give. Giving felt safe. Giving felt moral. Giving felt familiar. Receiving did not. Because receiving places you in a position where your choices matter more. When you have little, life decides for you. When you have more, you decide, and decision is weight. This is why the next phase of your life will test you through receiving, not through struggle. Struggle shaped you. Now stewardship will reveal you. You are entering a season where resources will come closer to you. Not suddenly, not dramatically, gradually. More opportunity, more access, more influence, and with it a question. Will you remain grounded when life becomes easier? Many lose themselves here. They stay humble in hardship, but become careless in comfort. That will not be your path. But you must be conscious. Money is not neutral. It amplifies what already exists. If you are aligned, it amplifies clarity. If you are unhealed, it amplifies distortion. This is why you were delayed. Not because you weren't capable, because you weren't ready to hold more without losing yourself. Now you are closer. You have learned restraint. You have learned patience. You have learned discernment. These are not traits of scarcity. They are foundations of stewardship. Hear this clearly.
You are not being prepared to accumulate for yourself alone. You are being prepared to influence environments, to stabilize systems, to model calm where chaos used to rule, to make decisions without panic. That requires internal authority. Not ego, authority. Authority does not dominate, it stabilizes, and that is what you are learning to become. You may feel resistance around receiving help, support, recognition. Notice that. That resistance is old identity, an identity that equated worth with struggle. That identity kept you honorable. It also kept you exhausted. You no longer need to prove discipline through deprivation. Discipline now looks like balance. You will be tempted to overgive again when abundance appears, to stay safe, to stay good, to stay familiar. Pause. Giving from fear creates imbalance. Receiving with awareness creates sustainability. You are not meant to drain yourself to prove purity. You are meant to remain clear so your presence has impact. This is spiritual responsibility, not renunciation, not excess, alignment. You will notice that as your capacity grows, your tolerance for manipulation will drop, not just from others, from yourself. You will stop justifying things that don't feel right. You will stop making emotional decisions that cost long-term stability. You will begin to choose what serves the whole, not just what relieves tension. This is maturity. And maturity can feel lonely, because it removes drama, it removes extremes, it removes the illusion that intensity equals importance. You will begin to value sustainability over excitement, clarity over charisma, consistency over applause. Some will misunderstand this. They may think you have become distant, too serious, too reserved. Let them. You are no longer building a life around reaction. You are building a life around intention, and intention requires space. This is why I am asking you to stay aware as things expand. Do not rush into decisions just because they look impressive. Do not commit out of obligation. Ask yourself one question before every major choice. Will this cost me my clarity? If the answer is yes, it is not aligned, no matter how good it looks. Power that costs clarity is a trap. You were protected from it before. You will be guided around it again. I am not here to tell you what to choose. I am here to remind you how to choose. Slowly, honestly, without fear. You do not need to grasp. What is meant for you will meet you where you stand. Remain grounded, remain regulated, remain self-honoring. That is how power stays clean, and that is why you can be trusted with it now.
There is an identity you are shedding now. Not because it was wrong, but because it has finished its work. This is the hardest part of the journey for people like you. Not letting go of others, but letting go of who you had to become to survive them. You built that version carefully. The one who stayed calm, the one who tolerated more, the one who handled things quietly so nothing would fall apart. That version was necessary. It protected you. It kept things stable. It kept you functioning when chaos surrounded you. But survival identities are not meant to lead the next chapter. They are meant to end. And endings like this do not come with drama. They come with discomfort, a strange feeling that something familiar no longer fits, even if it once felt safe. You may feel moments of grief, not for people, not for situations, but for yourself.
for how long you stayed strong without being supported, for how much you carried without being seen, for how much you normalized that was never meant to be normal. Let that grief move through you. Do not harden against it. Grief here is not weakness, it is recognition. Recognition that you deserved better even when you didn't know how to ask for it. This is why returning to old patterns will feel impossible now. Not because you can't, but because you won't respect yourself if you do. Your conscience has matured. You are no longer capable of pretending you don't see what you see. This is the point of no return, and it is meant to be that way. You will be tempted briefly to revive old dynamics, not because they are aligned, but because they are familiar. Familiarity will whisper, "At least you know how this ends." Alignment will whisper nothing. It will simply feel calm. Choose calm. Calm does not mean empty, it means regulated. You have lived long enough in heightened states. Constant alertness, constant problem solving, constant emotional management. That was not life. That was endurance. You are not here to endure anymore. You are here to inhabit your life. That requires a different posture, less bracing, more grounding, less proving, more presence. You may notice that your reactions continue to slow, that you pause before responding, that you feel less urgency to correct or explain. This is not disengagement. This is sovereignty. You are reclaiming authorship over your internal state. No one else gets to decide how much access they have to you. No situation gets to demand your energy without consent. This is not isolation. This is discernment becoming embodied. Your standards are no longer theoretical, they are lived. And because they are lived, life will reorganize around them. Some people will drift away without confrontation. Some opportunities will disappear without explanation. Some paths will quietly close. Do not chase what closes. Closure without conflict is grace. You are not losing momentum, you are losing friction, and friction disguised itself as purpose for too long. Now purpose will feel lighter, not easier, but cleaner. You will still work, you will still care, you will still contribute, but you will no longer bleed into what you build. You will not abandon yourself to keep things moving. That is the final test. Not whether you can survive difficulty, you already proved that. The test now is, can you remain yourself when life does not require sacrifice? Can you hold peace without searching for something wrong? Can you receive stability without creating chaos to feel familiar? This is where many fall back. They sabotage calm because it feels undeserved. You will feel that impulse. Do not follow it. Nothing is wrong. Your nervous system is simply learning a new environment. Stay. Stay with the stillness. Stay with the clarity. Stay with the unfamiliar calm. This is where integration happens. This is where you stop becoming and start being. You are not meant to return to who you were. You are meant to move forward as someone more precise, more honest, more self-trusting. That version of you does not need to be loud. It only needs to be consistent. And consistency will do what force never could. I remain with you in this phase. Not to guide every step, but to ensure you do not abandon yourself out of habit. You have crossed the threshold. What comes next will not be dramatic.
it will be stable. And stability is the reward you never thought you were allowed to want.
What you are entering now is not a phase of becoming. It is a phase of being. This is where many people feel lost because there is no urgency guiding them anymore, no crisis to respond to, no chaos demanding attention, no fire forcing movement, only quiet. And quiet can feel unfamiliar to someone who lived alert for so long. Your nervous system was trained to move when something was wrong. Now nothing is wrong, so the old instincts search for danger. Do not mistake this for intuition. This is adjustment. You are learning how to exist without constant self-defense. That takes time. You may feel moments where you wonder if you are doing enough, if you should be pushing harder, if you should be planning more, if you should be worrying again. That impulse is old identity, the version of you that believed peace had to be earned through exhaustion. You are no longer required to earn rest. Rest is not a reward. It is a condition for clarity. This is why I ask you now to move slower than feels natural. Slowness will reveal what speed hides. In slowness, you will notice how certain choices feel light immediately. You will also notice how others feel heavy before consequences appear. This is your new guidance. Not emotion, not pressure, resonance. You are learning to trust what settles instead of what excites. Excitement fades quickly. Resonance remains. This is how you stay aligned without needing constant reassurance. You do not need to analyze your past anymore. It has taught you what it needed to teach. Do not keep revisiting it to extract meaning that is already integrated. Looking back too often pulls energy away from presence. Presence is where your power now lives. When the past tries to re-enter through memory or nostalgia, acknowledge it gently, then return to now. You are not abandoning your history. You are honoring it by not repeating it. This phase will test you, not through temptation, but through boredom. Calm can feel empty when you are used to intensity. Do not confuse boredom with lack of purpose. Boredom is often the absence of drama, not the absence of meaning. Meaning will begin to express itself through consistency, through showing up without emotional charge, through building without burning, through choosing without justifying. This is how you sustain what you once could only survive. You may notice that fewer people have access to you now, not because you closed off, but because you no longer leak energy. Those who remain will meet you in clarity, not confusion. Let that be enough. You are not here to maintain connection at any cost. You are here to maintain alignment. Alignment does not demand explanation. It only demands honesty. There will be days when you feel almost invisible, not ignored, invisible. Those days are not setbacks. They are integration days. Days where nothing external shifts, but everything internal settles. Do not rush to fill those days. They are doing important work. You are stabilizing. Stability is not glamorous, but it is powerful. From stability, your decisions carry weight.
From stability, your presence affects rooms without effort. From stability, your life becomes quieter but more accurate. This is the final adjustment before forward momentum resumes. And when it does, it will feel natural, not forced, not rushed, not reactive. You will move because movement makes sense, not because stillness feels unsafe. That is how you know you have crossed the threshold. You are no longer waiting for life to happen to you. You are available to participate consciously. This is not the end of your journey, but it is the end of living from survival. You will still grow, you will still stretch, you will still face decisions, but you will face them from clarity, not fear. Remain present, remain honest, remain regulated. You do not need to hold everything together anymore. Life will meet you at the level of stability you now embody. I remain with you, not as a voice pushing you forward, but as a reminder to stay grounded when things finally become quiet. This quiet is not emptiness, it is peace learning how to stay.
You have reached the end of this passage. Not the end of your journey, but the end of being carried by it. There is a difference. For a long time, life pushed you forward through circumstances, pressure, and necessity. Now that push has stopped. Not because you were abandoned, but because you were trusted. Trust changes the way guidance works. Before, you were redirected through disruption. Now, you will be guided through resonance. You will know what is right, not because it is urgent, but because it is calm. This is the seal of this phase. You no longer need constant signs. You no longer need repeated confirmations. You no longer need reassurance spoken loudly. Silence will be enough. When something is aligned, it will not demand explanation. It will settle in you. When something is not aligned, it will create restlessness, even if it looks perfect on the surface. Do not override that knowing. That knowing is not fear, it is integration. You have integrated the lessons that once required pain to teach. That is why pain no longer has authority over you. It may still appear, but it will not lead. You will notice that your life begins to simplify, not because you are losing options, but because you are no longer entertaining what requires self-betrayal. Simplicity is not limitation, it is precision. You are no longer available for emotional noise, for rushed decisions, for relationships that depend on imbalance. This does not make you distant, it makes you accurate. Accuracy is quiet. It does not explain itself. It does not negotiate. It chooses. You may feel moments of doubt ahead, not doubt about direction, but doubt about stillness. When that happens, remember this: you are not stuck, you are settled. Settled is unfamiliar to those who lived in reaction. Do not mistake unfamiliar peace for lack of progress. Progress now happens internally first. Externally, things may appear slow. Internally, everything has aligned. What moves next will move cleanly, without resistance, without drama, without collapse. You will not need to rebuild yourself again. This is the last time you transition through identity. From now on, you will expand from stability. That is a different kind of growth. Growth that does not cost you yourself. You will still be challenged, but you will not be destabilized. You will still be stretched, but you will not be fragmented.
because you now know how to return to yourself. That is the greatest protection. I did not come to make you dependent on guidance. I came to return you to your own clarity. You carry what you need now. My presence remains, not as a voice directing you, but as a steady ground beneath you when decisions feel weighty. You are not required to rush forward. You are not required to prove anything. You are only required to remain honest with what you feel settled around. That honesty will shape a life that no longer needs rescue. This chapter is complete, not because it ended dramatically, but because it resolved fully. Walk forward without scanning behind you. Nothing there is unfinished. What is ahead will meet you at the level of calm you now embody. Stay with that calm. It is not emptiness. It is alignment that no longer needs to announce itself. I am with you as long as you remain with yourself, and that is enough.